From the very first moment the whispers hit the blogs, the internet went into a frenzy. Reports began to swirl that during an already tense showdown between Spice and Rasheeda, something even more shocking unfolded on the sidelines. Yandy allegedly stepping in and reportedly slapping Kirk Frost. The idea alone was enough to freeze timelines, with fans replaying shaky clips, zooming in on blurry frames, and dissecting every detail as if it were the finale of their favorite series. How did a clash that was supposed to be about Spice and Rasheeda suddenly spiral into a moment that pulled Yandy and Kirk straight into the spotlight? Was it a misunderstanding? A heat-of-the-moment reaction? Or something far deeper that had been bubbling beneath the surface for months? Insiders claim the room erupted. Gasps filled the air, and producers were scrambling to keep control while cast members tried to calm the chaos. Social media, of course, wasted no time, pushing hashtags, firing off memes, and demanding answers. Fans were shocked, confused, and desperate to know the truth. Was this really a slap that will go down in love and hip-hop history? Or just another rumor set ablaze by the cameras and the fans who live for drama? The night was supposed to be about Spice and Rasheeda, a confrontation that fans had been anticipating for weeks. The tension between the two women had been simmering since the reunion rumors began, and everyone expected the sparks to fly when they finally came face to face. But what no one expected was for Yandy and Kirk Frost to become the center of attention after an incident that had fans replaying clips and insiders whispering that a slap may have changed everything. People in the room said the air was already thick with drama, voices raised, Spice pointing fingers at Rasheeda while Rasheeda tried to defend herself with her usual calm but sharp tone. The crowd leaned in, waiting for the kind of fireworks that only love and hip-hop can deliver. And just when it seemed like Spice was about to storm off, Yandy reportedly stood up, stepping in with the kind of fire that made even the cameras pause. Witnesses claim that Kirk Frost, who had been standing to the side with his arms crossed, muttered something under his breath. It wasn't clear if his words were aimed at Spice, at Rasheeda, or at Yandy, but whatever he said was enough to change the entire course of the night. Yandy turned sharply, her eyes narrowing, and for a moment, it looked like she was ready to let it slide. But the tension that had been building throughout the evening seemed to break all at once. Some say Kirk smirked, others say he shook his head dismissively. But either way, the moment Yandy reacted is the one fans can't stop talking about. Reports say she stepped forward, raised her hand, and in a flash that no one saw coming, there was a sound that made the entire room freeze. Gasps echoed, and suddenly it wasn't Spice and Rasheeda at the center anymore. It was Yandy and Kirk. Locked in a shocking moment that no one could have predicted, social media erupted within minutes of the story spreading. One clip, shaky and blurred, showed a flurry of movement with voices screaming in the background. The caption read, "Did Yandy just slap Kirk Frost?" And within hours, it had been shared thousands of times. Fans flooded timelines with divided reactions. Some were in shock, unable to believe Yandy would go that far. Others defended her, saying Kirk must have said something truly disrespectful to push her over the edge. One fan wrote, "If Kirk disrespected Yandy, she did what Rasheeda should have done years ago." Another countered, "No matter what he said, that's too far. She crossed a line." The division only fueled the fire, making the story bigger than anyone imagined. Backstage whispers painted an even more complicated picture. Insiders claim Rasheeda was furious, not only at Yandy but at Kirk for putting her in such a humiliating position. She reportedly pulled him aside, her voice sharp and trembling, saying, "You always drag me into mess I didn't sign up for." Kirk, however, insisted he had done nothing wrong, brushing it off as Yandy being overly sensitive. Spice, still, reeling from her own argument with Rasheeda, was said to be stunned silent, watching the fallout unfold with wide eyes. She allegedly whispered to someone near her, "This is too much. I can't believe what I just saw." The crew scrambled to regain control, producers huddling in corners to figure out how to handle footage that was far more explosive than anything they had planned. What made the situation even more dramatic was the ripple effect it caused among the rest of the cast. Mimi was overheard saying that she wasn't surprised, calling Kirk disrespectful for years. Carly Red, of course, wasted no time running to her phone to record her reaction, telling followers that the truth always comes to light. Erica Mena chimed in on her socials too, posting a cryptic message that fans immediately tied to the incident. Sometimes the slap is just the sound of a boundary being set. The fans ate it up, dissecting every post, every emoji, every vague caption, desperate to piece together the full story. The more the cast reacted, the more undeniable it became that something major had gone down. The fallout also reached family members, with people close to Yandy saying that Mendexi's was trying to calm her down afterward. He allegedly told her, "You can't let them push you like that. They'll twist it against you." But Yandy, still fuming, reportedly replied, "I won't let anyone disrespect me. Not Kirk, not anybody." Her passion struck a chord with fans who had always admired her strength, but it also raised questions about whether this was a breaking point that could damage her reputation. Kirk, meanwhile, was said to be pacing around the venue, muttering about how he was tired of being made the villain. "Everybody wants to make me the bad guy," he told a crew member, "but nobody wants to talk about what she did." By the next morning, blogs had already crafted headlines that turned the situation into a media frenzy. "Yandy snaps on Kirk Frost," one read, while another declared, "Slap heard across Atlanta." Commenters flooded the sections with their own theories, some swearing they saw the moment clearly in leaked clips, others saying the footage was too shaky to prove anything. Debates raged over whether Yandy had truly slapped Kirk or whether the rumors had blown an argument out of proportion. But as one blogger put it, "In reality TV, it doesn't matter if it happened exactly like that. What matters is that everyone believes it did." The drama quickly overshadowed Spice and Rasheeda's clash, leaving fans to wonder whether their feud would even matter in the episodes to come. Spice and Rasheeda started the fire, but Yandy and Kirk set the room ablaze. One tweet declared. Another said, "The reunion just wrote itself. We don't even need producers for this one." The sheer magnitude of the incident ensured it would remain a hot topic for weeks, if not months, and no one could escape its reach. Tamar Braxton even weighed in on her socials, joking, "Adel stays messy. Lord, give me strength." Her comment went viral, adding yet another celebrity perspective to the pile of reactions. As the storm raged, fans began questioning what this meant for relationships off camera. Would Rasheeda stand by Kirk after such a public embarrassment? Would Yandy face backlash from her castmates for crossing a physical line? And what role would Spice play now that her own feud had been completely overshadowed? The uncertainty made the story even juicier, keeping audiences glued to every update. Every time one of the cast members posted, fans rushed to the comments, desperate for a hint, a clue, or even a slip-up that would add another twist. And as much as producers tried to control the narrative, it was clear the story had grown beyond their reach, taking on a life of its own in the hands of fans and blogs who thrived on the chaos. The days after the alleged slap were anything but quiet. Fans were glued to their phones, replaying every blurry clip, dissecting every reaction from the cast, and demanding clarity about what had actually gone down between Yandy and Kirk Frost. Blogs had already declared it the moment of the season, calling it the slap that stole the spotlight, while social media timelines were flooded with hot takes. One corner of the internet insisted Yandy was justified, that Kirk had finally pushed the wrong person too far. Another side called her out for crossing boundaries, arguing that no matter what Kirk said, physical reactions should never be the answer. The debate itself became a show of its own, with thousands of comments pouring in under every post mentioning their names. Backstage insiders began painting a more detailed picture of the chaotic night. Some claimed Kirk had made a snide remark about Yandy involving herself in Spice and Rasheeda's fight, something along the lines of, "Here she go again, trying to make it about her." Those words reportedly cut deep, because Yandy had been dealing with accusations for years that she inserted herself into other people's drama. Hearing Kirk mutter it under his breath, especially in front of the cameras, was like striking a match near gasoline. One insider recalled seeing Yandy freeze for a moment, her expression darkening before she stepped toward Kirk. The atmosphere, already tense from Spice and Rasheeda's argument, suddenly cracked open into something far more explosive. What fueled the fire even more was how Rasheeda reacted afterward. She was said to be torn between frustration at Kirk for being careless and disbelief at Yandy for allegedly resorting to a slap. According to people close to her, Rasheeda told Kirk, "You don't think before you open your mouth, and now we're both paying the price." Kirk, however, defended himself, saying he had a right to his opinion and that Yandy overreacted. "I didn't even say her name," he reportedly muttered. "She just wanted a moment." That dismissive tone only made Rasheeda more upset, and she allegedly snapped back that he was always dragging her into mess she didn't create. The tension between them was palpable, and fans who caught glimpses of their exchange online began speculating that this might cause cracks in their marriage to surface once again. Spice, who had been at the center of the original confrontation with Rasheeda, found herself caught in the crossfire. Her eyes widened when the slap reportedly landed, and she later told friends she couldn't believe what she had witnessed. "This is beyond TV drama," she allegedly said. "This is real disrespect on another level." Spice's stunned reaction quickly became a meme, with fans zooming in on her wide-eyed expression and sharing it with captions like, "When the drama goes left." The memes spread like wildfire, keeping the incident trending across multiple platforms for days. Spice herself stayed quiet publicly, but fans speculated that her silence spoke volumes, with many assuming she was distancing herself from the chaos. The reactions didn't stop with the cast. Fans of the show weighed in heavily, with comment sections resembling full-on debates. One viewer wrote, "Yandy always plays peacekeeper until someone crosses her. This time it was Kirk, and he deserved it." Another countered, "No matter what he said, putting hands on someone is never okay." The sheer passion in these arguments kept the scandal alive longer than anyone expected. People weren't just watching the show anymore. They were living it, discussing it, and reliving every second as though it had happened in their own living rooms. That kind of engagement is rare, and producers reportedly celebrated behind the scenes. Even as the cast scrambled to deal with the fallout, adding fuel to the fire was the fact that clips of Kirk pacing around after the incident began circulating online. In one video, his face was tight with anger as he muttered something about being tired of always being made the villain. Fans seized on the footage, with some accusing him of playing the victim and others sympathizing with the idea that he was unfairly targeted. One fan tweeted, "Kirk been messy for years? Now he wants sympathy? Please." Another replied, "He didn't deserve to get slapped. That's crossing the line." The polarizing reactions only made the story harder to control, and by then, the narrative had grown bigger than any single statement could fix. What made the drama even more gripping was how other cast members jumped into the mix. Carly Red, never one to hold her tongue, went live on Instagram saying she wasn't surprised. "Kirk's been reckless for a long time," she said with a smirk, "and Yandy just gave him what he's been asking for." Her words sparked another wave of debate, with fans either agreeing wholeheartedly or accusing her of fanning the flames. Erica Mena added her own cryptic tweet, "Sometimes the truth comes with a sting." Though she didn't name names, fans immediately tied it to the incident, interpreting it as her subtle support for Yandy. Every cast member's comment, no matter how vague, became a puzzle piece for fans trying to piece together the full truth. The personal stakes continued to rise as whispers spread that Mendices wasn't happy with the situation either. Insiders claimed he told Yandy privately that while he understood her anger, she needed to think about how it would look to the world. "You know they'll twist this," he allegedly told her, "and all they'll see is you being the aggressor." Yandy, still heated, reportedly shot back, So I'm supposed to let him disrespect me in front of everyone? No, I won't do that. Their exchange revealed the difficult position she was in, balancing her personal pride with the way her image would be shaped in the public eye. Mendexi's was said to be supportive but worried, knowing the cameras would use the moment for maximum drama. No matter what the truth was, the storyline reached beyond the set, pulling in family members and friends who weren't even there that night. Rasheeda's mother reportedly called her, demanding to know what was happening and telling her to keep her family away from messy feuds. Tammy Rivera, a longtime friend of the cast, allegedly texted Yandy encouraging her to stand her ground, but also to be cautious about how far things escalated. Fans loved hearing about these behind-the-scenes exchanges because it made the drama feel even more real. Every new piece of gossip added another layer, and people couldn't get enough. Meanwhile, bloggers kept releasing new angles of the incident. One grainy clip seemed to show Yandy leaning toward Kirk with her hand raised, though the image was too blurry to confirm. Another clip captured the stunned silence in the room immediately after, with someone audibly gasping, "Oh, my God, she really did it." Whether these videos truly showed the moment or not didn't matter. Fans believed they did, and the belief was enough to keep the fire burning. The incident became one of the most replayed, re-edited, and reanalyzed moments in recent love and hip-hop history. Every fan had their own theory, and every blog had its own version of events. What kept the story alive wasn't just the slap itself, but what it represented. For years, Kirk had been at the center of rumors, scandals, and questionable behavior. Many fans saw this as karma finally catching up to him, delivered in the form of Yandy's hand. Others viewed it as a dangerous precedent, worried that physical altercations would overshadow the emotional and verbal drama that the show was known for. The divide made the story impossible to ignore, as everyone seemed to have a stake in what the incident really meant. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was a debate about loyalty, respect, and boundaries in friendships and marriages as the dust began to settle. One thing was clear: the slap, real or exaggerated, had become a defining moment. It overshadowed Spice and Rasheeda's original clash, pulled Yandy and Kirk into the spotlight, and left fans debating long after the cameras stopped rolling. And for the cast, the fallout was just beginning. Because if the reactions online were any indication, the next time they all gathered in the same room, the tension would be even more unbearable than before. The fallout from the alleged slap between Yandy and Kirk Frost didn't just stay in Atlanta. It spread across every timeline, every gossip site, and every fan podcast like wildfire. By now, the incident wasn't just an isolated moment caught on shaky cameras. It had become a full-blown saga that people were dissecting frame by frame, word by word, as if it held the secret to everything fans had ever suspected about the cast. What was originally Spice and Rasheeda's heated clash had turned into something much bigger, a chain reaction that dragged families, friendships, and marriages into the spotlight in ways nobody could have predicted. For Kirk, the storm was almost unbearable. Insiders said he paced around his house in silence, muttering under his breath about how everyone always painted him as the villain. "I can't win," he reportedly told a friend. "No matter what I do, they'll make me the bad guy." He was especially frustrated that fans seemed so eager to believe Yandy's reaction must have been justified. To him, the whole situation was exaggerated, a misunderstanding blown out of proportion by social media and producers desperate for ratings. But every denial only made him look guiltier in the eyes of fans, who argued that if there was nothing to hide, he wouldn't be so defensive. Some even speculated that Kirk's behavior after the incident, storming out of the venue, refusing to face questions, was proof that he had said something deeply disrespectful that night. Rasheeda, on the other hand, was caught in the middle of an emotional tug-of-war. She was angry at Kirk for putting her in such a humiliating situation, but also hesitant to publicly side against him. People close to her said she broke down in tears one evening, telling her sister, "I've stood by him through so many scandals, but this one feels different. This one feels like everyone is laughing at me. Rasheeda had worked hard to rebuild her image after past controversies with Kirk, and now all of that progress seemed threatened by whispers that her husband had once again embarrassed her in front of millions. Fans were divided about her role. Some urged her to leave Kirk once and for all, while others sympathized, saying no one deserved to be blindsided like that in front of cameras. Every reaction she gave, even the smallest Instagram caption, was dissected as a hidden message about how she truly felt. Yandy, meanwhile, became the focus of both admiration and criticism. Some fans hailed her as a queen for standing up to Kirk, calling the alleged slap justice long overdue. Others condemned her, accusing her of overstepping and stealing the spotlight from Spice and Rasheeda's conflict. One fan tweeted, "This wasn't her fight, but she made it hers." Another countered, "Sometimes you don't choose the moment, it chooses you." Her decision to stay mostly quiet publicly, aside from vague posts about respect and boundaries, only added to the mystery. People begged her to go live, to tell her side of the story. But Yandy seemed to understand that silence kept the intrigue alive longer than any explanation could. Spice, who had originally been at the center of the night's drama, was left completely overshadowed. Fans joked that her argument with Rasheeda had been slapped off the headlines by Yandy and Kirk's explosive moment. But those close to Spice said she wasn't laughing. She reportedly told her team that she felt robbed of her moment, that the hard conversations she had been planning to air out with Rasheeda were now lost in the noise of someone else's scandal. "I wanted my truth heard," she allegedly said, "and now it's just memes about Yandy and Kirk." Spice's frustration bubbled online when she posted a cryptic message about people stealing attention, which fans immediately tied back to the incident. The layers of conflict multiplied. What began as one argument now spun into multiple feuds. Each with its own emotional stakes. Blogs and podcasts added even more fuel by dropping alleged behind-the-scenes details. One outlet claimed that producers had been caught off guard, that the cameras weren't even properly positioned to capture the slap, which is why the leaked footage was so shaky. Another blogger swore they had inside sources saying Kirk tried to confront Yandy afterward, but was pulled away by security. None of these claims were verified, but that didn't matter. Fans consumed them like gospel, piecing together theories about what really happened. Hashtags like #Slapgate and Team Yandy trended for days, each tweet and meme adding another layer to the already convoluted story. And then came the celebrity reactions. Tamar Braxton weighed in with a playful, yet shady post writing, "Adel never fails to keep me entertained." Carly Red doubled down on her earlier stance, releasing a YouTube vlog where she recapped the incident from her perspective and insisted that Kirk got what was coming to him. Erica Mena posted another vague tweet about, "When you don't respect boundaries, don't be surprised by the consequences." Even artists outside the franchise chimed in, with one rapper tweeting that he thought the whole drama was staged for ratings. Each new opinion added to the noise, making the scandal impossible to escape. As if the situation weren't messy enough, rumors began to swirl about a private sit-down between Yandy, Mendeces, and Kirk that allegedly ended in more shouting. Insiders whispered that Mendeces tried to mediate, urging Kirk to apologize for whatever words had triggered Yandy, but Kirk reportedly refused, saying he had nothing to apologize for. "I didn't touch her. I didn't come at her," he allegedly shouted. "She came at me." Yandy, furious, was said to have stood her ground, insisting that Kirk's words crossed a line no man should ever cross. Mendeces, caught between supporting his wife and trying to avoid another escalation, eventually walked out, shaking his head in frustration. The supposed meeting left everyone even more divided, with no resolution in sight. The longer the drama stretched on, the more it seemed to take on a life of its own. Fans weren't just waiting for answers anymore. They were invested in the narrative, treating it like a reality TV arc that needed a proper climax. Theories about upcoming reunions, possible confrontations, and secret footage dominated conversations online. Some even speculated that producers might stretch this incident into a multi-episode storyline, teasing it in trailers to keep viewers hooked. Whether true or not, the idea itself kept fans buzzing, ensuring the scandal wouldn't fade anytime soon. What made the moment so unforgettable wasn't just the slap itself, but what it represented. It symbolized years of built-up tension, unspoken resentments, and the fragile balance between friendship, loyalty, and pride. Kirk had long been painted as the antagonist of the series, and Yandy stepping up to confront him, even in such a shocking way, felt like a breaking point that had been building all along. Spice and Rasheeda's clash may have lit the fire, but Yandy and Kirk's alleged altercation turned it into an inferno that consumed everything around it. And as the days passed, fans realized they weren't just watching a scandal. They were witnessing a moment that might redefine the dynamics of the entire cast. With every new update, the stakes only climbed higher. Would Rasheeda publicly defend Kirk, or would she finally distance herself from his controversies? Would Yandy double down on her silence, letting the rumors keep her name trending, or would she finally break and tell her side? And would Spice allow her original feud to fade into the background, or would she find a way to reclaim her spotlight? The uncertainty made the story impossible to turn away from, ensuring that fans stayed glued to every headline, every post, and every leak, desperate for the next twist in a saga that already felt larger than life. As the weeks passed, the drama surrounding Yandy and Kirk Frost refused to fade. If anything, the story only grew bigger, fueled by countless fan debates, endless blogs, and cast reactions that seemed to pour gasoline on an already raging fire. The alleged slap had become more than just a scandal. It was the centerpiece of conversations about loyalty, respect, and the fragile web of relationships that held the love and hip-hop cast together. People who had never even watched the show before were now familiar with the names and the incident, proving just how far the shockwaves had traveled. In public, Kirk tried to act unfazed. He posted lighthearted photos with Rasheeda, captioning them with messages about family and strength. But fans weren't convinced. Under every post, the comments were filled with people bringing up the slap, some mocking him for being embarrassed, others dragging him for whatever words had allegedly triggered Yandy. Family first? Then why you always causing your family embarrassment? One fan wrote. Another comment read, "This is nice, but we want to know what Yandy slapped you for." Kirk's attempt to brush it off only made fans press harder. No matter what he posted, the shadow of that night followed him. Refusing to let Rasheeda, meanwhile, carried her own burden. People close to her said she was exhausted by the constant questions and the humiliation of having her husband's name once again tangled in scandal. She reportedly told a friend, "I just want one season where I'm not cleaning up Kirk's mess." Her frustration spilled out in subtle ways. Longer silences in interviews, sharper tones during casual conversations, and Instagram posts that fans dissected for hidden meanings. One caption about choosing peace over chaos went viral as fans argued over whether it was a subtle message to Kirk, to Yandy, or to the entire world watching. Whatever she meant, the ambiguity only added more fuel to the fire, keeping the conversation alive. Yandy, for her part, seemed to understand the power of silence. Rather than addressing the slap directly, she posted about self-respect, boundaries, and protecting one's peace. Her followers flooded her comments with support, praising her for standing tall. "You did what needed to be done," one wrote. "Kirk been disrespectful for years, and you weren't about to let it slide." But not everyone agreed. Critics accused her of attention-seeking, of stealing Spice and Rasheeda's moment, and of turning the spotlight onto herself. The divide was sharp, and with each new post, the tension grew. Yandy herself, according to insiders, confided to Mendexes that she didn't regret standing her ground. "Sometimes people need to know they can't play with you," she reportedly told him. Kirk learned that lesson. Mendexes, however, was said to be cautious, reminding her that while fans might love the drama, producers and networks often twisted things in ways that could backfire. Spice, who had started this entire chain of events with her clash against Rasheeda, remained caught in the background. Her feud had been completely overshadowed, and insiders said she was frustrated that all the attention had shifted to Yandy and Kirk. "I was the one fighting Rasheeda, but now it's about a slap," she reportedly vented. Spice's irritation spilled onto social media when she posted a cryptic caption about people stealing thunder, which fans immediately linked to the situation. The post reignited her feud with Rasheeda, but this time, it felt secondary to the larger drama swirling around Kirk and Yandy. Spice, always sharp with her words, knew how to grab attention, but even she struggled to compete with the headline-grabbing chaos of the slap. The producers behind the show were rumored to be ecstatic. They knew they had stumbled upon gold, and Satsiao, unscripted scandal that had taken on a life of its own. Plans for the reunion were allegedly rewritten to center the incident, with seating charts adjusted and questions prepared to ensure the drama spilled onto the stage. Behind the scenes, some cast members grumbled that the slap was overshadowing their own storylines. But producers didn't care. They wanted ratings, and nothing promised viewers like a confrontation that had already gone viral. "This is what keeps the lights on," one insider allegedly joked. And they weren't wrong. The hype surrounding the incident ensured fans would be glued to their screens, waiting for the moment it was finally addressed on camera. As fans debated whether the slap really happened or was exaggerated by shaky footage, more alleged witnesses came forward. One claimed that they heard the sound clearly, describing it as loud enough to make the room go silent. Another insisted it was just a shove, not a slap, sparking yet another wave of arguments online. Every new account added another layer to the mystery, making the story impossible to settle. Fans dissected each detail like detectives, convinced that somewhere, in all the blurry clips and conflicting testimonies, lay the real truth. But the ambiguity only made the scandal stronger. The less clear the story became, the more obsessed people were with uncovering it. Their cast members couldn't resist weighing in. Mimi posted a video saying, "Kirk always been disrespectful, so if it happened, I ain't surprised." Carly Red doubled down on her earlier comments, gleefully telling followers, "I told y'all he had it coming." Erica Mena added yet another cryptic post. Sometimes the hand speaks louder than words. Their involvement reignited fan wars, with people choosing sides and calling out cast members for either stirring the pot or refusing to take a stand. The sheer volume of opinions kept the scandal at the top of trending charts, ensuring it wouldn't fade anytime soon. The emotional toll on the cast was undeniable. Kirk reportedly withdrew, avoiding phone calls and spending more time at home. Rasheeda, though frustrated, stuck by him publicly, but their private arguments were said to be growing louder. Yandy, while holding her ground, admitted to friends that the constant speculation was draining, though she believed she had done the right thing. Spice simmered with frustration, angry that her own feud had been overshadowed, and the fans, watching from the sidelines, reveled in the chaos, treating it like the most explosive television they'd seen in years. By the time the cast gathered for their next group event, the tension was unbearable. People whispered that Kirk avoided Yandy all night, keeping his distance and refusing to even glance her way. Rasheeda's eyes reportedly followed Yandy across the room, her expression unreadable, while Spice made pointed comments about keeping hands to yourself that left the entire table awkwardly quiet. Cameras caught every glare, every whispered aside, every uncomfortable silence, ensuring the drama would play out on screen with just as much intensity as it had online. It was clear that no matter how much the cast wanted to move forward, the shadow of the slap would hang over them for the rest of the season. And that was the truth of it. The incident had grown bigger than anyone could control. It wasn't just about a heated night anymore. It was about years of built-up resentment, complicated friendships, and the way one moment could reshape the entire narrative of a show. Fans were hooked, waiting to see who would break first, who would tell their side, and who would be exposed when the reunion finally rolled around. Whether the slap was real, exaggerated, or even just rumored didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that it had left scars, and those scars would take far longer to heal than anyone expected after everything that's played out. One thing is certain, the drama isn't slowing down. The reports of Yandy allegedly slapping Kirk Frost during the explosive Spice and Rasheeda clash have left fans divided, friendships shaken, and the entire cast walking on eggshells. Some believe Kirk pushed too far and finally got what was coming to him, while others insist Yandy crossed a line that can't be ignored. Spice feels her thunder was stolen. Rasheeda is caught in the middle, and Kirk is left fighting to defend his name. Emotions ran high, accusations piled up, and the family was left divided in ways no one saw coming. But the real question is, what do you think? Was this just a misunderstanding blown out of proportion? Or did Yandy truly let her frustration spill over in the most shocking way possible? Do you think Rasheeda will continue standing by Kirk? Or could this be the moment that finally cracks their bond? And how will Spice handle being pushed out of the spotlight by all this chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because we want to hear every side. Don't hold back. Whose team are you on? And if you've been just as stunned by this roller coaster as we have, make sure you hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because trust me, the next twist in this saga is coming sooner than you think, and you'll want to be the first to see it unfold.